I'm sorry for that break. For some reason, I can't explain. I had an issue with the microphone. It seemed to be unplugging itself the whole time. Sorry for that. It's going to be a part 2 of that. So what we did in the first part is we went over the fund sizes, the allocations, that the market cap does not equal money injected. We went over the diversification issues within UCITS and the US 40 Act. So now let's go into her LinkedIn and let's take a quick look at that. Now, that's her LinkedIn, right? So in general, she has the very first thing that would pop into my to pop up on my radar is that she's been switching between job hopping quite frequently. Now, some industries is nothing bad about that, and even in finance there are jobs where it's okay, but a couple of times she's mentioning to be a portfolio manager, and it's not a really good thing. So let's take a look. What's the first thing? PM in Queensland, right? That's the first note. Yeah. So in general, if you are a portfolio manager somewhere and you didn't get to stay for a full market cycle, that's a major red flag. What does she say? Yeah. Right. Portfolio management of debt, assets, and other pools against different benchmarks. So let me go a bit further here. It says something about the personality of someone when they're not able to clearly express themselves and use terminology that's not misleading or that doesn't sort of say things twice and so on and so on. There's no need to say assets when you speak of debt, because debt is part of assets just as equity is an asset. So, not quite sure about her mental capabilities here. Portfolio management of debt, assets, and other pools. What pools? Against different benchmarks. Okay, against the benchmark. Monitoring domestic and global market. Yeah, I hope a portfolio manager is monitoring domestic and global markets. Now here comes implementation of strategies to manage interest rate risk. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Foreign exchange risk. Okay, so basically hedging. Interest rate curve risk and credit risk. So she's implementing strategies to manage interest rate curve risk. That's a job of the central bank, not hers. So I don't know where she got that from. Preparation of board reports. Okay, presenting to clients. Yeah, that's fairly standard. Portfolio manager will go and meet clients. That's clear. ANZ. Yeah, very short tenure at ANZ. Again, portfolio manager 2 years and 8 months versus 3 years and 8 months. Portfolio management of fixed interest, and corporate debt against benchmarks. Yep. Assist in the management of the global bond portfolio. What are you, a portfolio manager, or are you an assistant portfolio manager? Do you have It's not clear. Trade executions. Yeah. So either she is an assistant portfolio manager, or this global bond portfolio, which can be very big. I don't know about the assets under management of ANZ, but trade executions is typically something a trader would do. So what are you? Are you an execution trader? Or are you a portfolio manager? I know a couple of smaller boutiques where the portfolio managers trade themselves, but both boutiques that I know, both investment boutiques, they are, I think, below 6 billion in assets under management, so nothing too significant. And they're all in emerging markets. One's in debt and one is in emerging market equity. So that then, kind of makes sense because it's a bit more of a technical thing. But global bonds. I mean, usually there is a dedicated trade execution team, so that doesn't make sense. Presentations to existing clients and new prospects. Yes, so that goes back to my point of her being mentally challenged. It's because why would you use the word a new prospect? There are no old prospects. So, yeah, I mean, just say prospects. What is that? Or new clients, or, potential clients, something. I mean, anyway. Yeah. Schroders, wow, big firm. 1 year and 6 months. Come on, honey. Yeah. Economic and investment strategies. So what's an economic strategy? Are you a politician now? See, that's these things. I mean, I think she's a disturbed individual, and it's clear in how she writes and how she speaks, and repetitiveness. And also, if we go a bit outside of that, at the beginning of her videos, it's usually this be kind kind of thing. So usually people who tell you to be a certain way, they should be that themselves. Okay, but whatever. Yeah, well, so here's a very interesting development. So apparently from portfolio manager and senior portfolio manager, she becomes a wealth management advisor. So that's basically your typical go-to guy that you go talk to when you have some funds to invest and you want to know where to put them. If you go from ANZ or from Queens or from Schroders to some secretive kind of smallish private bank, I don't know, in Liechtenstein or Luxembourg or Switzerland, alright. But Citi, yeah, come on. Citi is not really a big name for wealth management. So it's a bit of a downgrading in terms of role. Yeah. And here, I think it's her own firm, isn't it? The Esoteric Trading Solutions. By the way, I mean, there's nothing that should be esoteric about trading. I mean, trading is a very quantitative thing, and the more you automate it, the better. So, and then she speaks of herself as of excellent education. Yeah, I mean, if you say reputable education, okay, because you've got some reputation, somebody stood up and said, that's a good place to be, but it's not very professional to speak of yourself as excellent if the only one, saying if you're good or not is yourself. So, I have my problems here. Slack communication channels. Okay, yeah. But from where did she come, right? So, from portfolio manager, supposedly, to weekly technical analysis. Okay. By the way, as a side note, technical analysis, evidence-based technical analysis. So that's a book from David Aronson. You can check it out. There you'll see that technical analysis does not work. All right. Yeah. Cool. So what I want to do is, because it's easy to go and say, well, that doesn't look like a portfolio manager's career or like a professional career. It's easy to bash without showing comparison. Let's look at something. So here is a UBS fund. UBS Long-Term Themes Fund is a fund that was launched at a very good moment. End of January 2016, so just after the markets took a bit of a hit. What was that, China hard landing or whatever have you. And so that's the UBS Equity Long-Term Themes Fund. It's a thematic-based fund, and a couple of investment themes such as population growth, increasing urbanization, aging population. Now I know that automation is in there. So these are mega trends of the future. Very concentrated fund. Fund's doing all right. It's pretty good. And a big success story, because if you check it out, it was launched in 28th of January 2016, so that's what, 2.5, a bit more than 2.5 years ago, and already at 2.1 billion US dollars in assets under management. So good story. So let's see who the portfolio management representatives are. Bruno Bertocci, Joe Elegante. So let's take a look at those. Bruno Bertocci, Managing Director at UBS. So what has he done? Well, he's been an MD at Rockefeller for 13 years. Global Equity Portfolio Manager. 13 years. That is almost 2 market cycles. Then he built his own firm, it seems. Created and implemented Steinrock Rowe Global Capital Management. I don't know, maybe he sold it or whatever have you. And he's been a managing director at UBS from 1998 until now. So, I mean, UBS, it was split into UBS Global Asset Management, if I remember correctly. And there he's been a global equity portfolio manager. So that's it. What's that? 13 plus 3, 16, 36 years in 3 places. That is consistency. This is how real portfolio managers look like. Joseph Elegante. Yeah. Portfolio. I don't know why he's not portfolio manager at UBS. I don't know where that shows up, but portfolio manager, yeah, I don't know why that was so short, but Alliance Growth Equities, 11 years and 7 months. That's it. That's all they did. There's no job hopping and so on and so on. So yeah, sorry, but this is not a financial professional here. This lady, it's most likely somebody who has their mental issues and somebody who should get her head checked. But from a professional perspective, it looks good on paper, but a lot of it is just not good. All right, that's it. Thanks a lot.